Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Impossible Mowers. In today's video we're going to be power washing the Pulan Pro as well as dropping the motor in it and hopefully driving it around, but we'll just see how far we get. We're going to be pressure washing it with the old John Deere here. Here's the model number in case you guys are interested. I got a new gun for it, new tips, new hose, and we're going to get it ripping today, so stay tuned. Like I said in today's video, guys, we're going to be pressure washing the mower. I checked my video that I posted before, and I forgot to tell you guys the story behind this mower, so let me quickly fill you guys in. I got this mower from a buddy. He showed me pictures of it before I went up there to get it, and this was actually 2 feet in the ground. So the blade deck was just, I didn't even know there was a blade deck with it. It was right up to here, right about up to there, and it was just sunk. And you guys might be wondering, why did I choose to get this anyways? And I'll tell you why. When we pulled it out, the blade deck looked all right. It has an oil cooled transmission. It's got the 6-speed Peerless oil cooled, which is the one I've always wanted, but could never find. So these are really hard transmissions to find because the oil cooled ones are usually 3 speeds, 4 speeds, or maybe 5 speeds, but a 6-speed, they're really hard to find and really difficult to get for a good price. So we lucked out on this one, and when I saw it, I thought, you know what, let's just lift it up and see what's under there, and it actually looked pretty decent. So it went from 2 feet in the ground to a rolling chassis now, and we're about to pressure wash it. So I'm gonna put the fast play on, and you guys can see me pressure wash this puppy. Well, that sucked. The pressure washer was absolute trash. I don't know what is going on, but for some reason the gun does not want to cooperate. I got some of it done, but not all of it, so I'll probably have to do that off camera, figure out why that gun ain't working. It's a brand new gun too, not even a year old. I've only used it about 4 times. But there it is. Got it mostly cleaned up. Try to get as much of the engine bay as I could, but I don't see much of a difference if I'm being honest. There's still junk in there, still a lot of pressure washing to be done. But yeah, that kind of pisses me off because just bought that hose, just bought that gun, cost me about 70 bucks for the both of them. And I always keep my stuff stored away really good. I always keep the pressure washer outside tarped, and I keep the hose and gun in the shed, just so that you know, we don't get any frost or anything on it. And for some reason it's just not working, so I'm sure it's something big. Usually what can happen is in the guns there's crud that can get stuffed in there, and it'll block the trigger, so when you go to press the trigger on it, it's kind of stayed open. So I don't know, it's probably nothing big, but yeah, there it is, all good there. So what we're going to do now is we are going to wait for this to dry, clean out the engine bay, we'll have a gander underneath, see what we're dealing with, and then just kind of take it from there. I hope I have the right size belt, which I think I do, but I'm not too sure. I'm kind of hoping to get this thing driving, but we don't know. So like I said, we'll wait for this to dry, give it about a good hour, and then go underneath it, see what we got, check the belts out, and then drop the motor in, and then of course after cleaning it all out, drop the motor in and just kind of see what we're looking at for alignment. So I'll see you guys in an hour's time. Guys, oh yeah. the engine, and it's a big one. Okay, let's see. So, all right, it just fit right in. I like it. I like the attitude. So off the bat, I'm already seeing this whole manifold's just got it just whoop, gone. That'll be 2 easy bolts right there. And then get it aligned. But yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, imagine opening up the hood and seeing that. A girthy Intech V-twin, Briggs & Stratton. Whew! That gets me excited right there. That just, wow. Worth the effort, worth the wait. This is about 60-70 pounds, I'd say, easy. That's, I think that's with fluids. It might be less. In fact, it might even be more. It might be more like 70-80 pounds, but it's a heavy little bastard. But I'll tell you what, we're looking at some horsepower. This is gonna make a good, damn good mower. You know, the single cylinders, they're amazing and I love them. They're stout, they're made to last, and they're just the best. But there is the exception of the V-twin. Just the look. It's so chunky. It's like, it's amazing. So, camera cockeyed there, my mistake. With all the admiration to the side, we're gonna take this manifold off first thing, align it, see what we're looking at. So let me get the stand ready, and I'll get back to you guys when we start taking those holes out. Alrighty guys, we're back. This is a 1/2-inch socket. I'm really glad we can do a video on this because you guys get to see what exactly they did. Yeah, I can't speak today. Detail by detail, what it was like to put the V-twin in Chuck. This is the same thing, only difference is it's a Briggs & Stratton motor. And it's pretty cool, and it's good for you guys to learn, because if you guys can figure out how to put the stand down here, if you guys can figure out how to convert a single cylinder engine bay into a V-twin, you can have 2 different motors to put in, which I think is pretty cool. Uno, dos, just like that. Exhaust is out. We'll just kind of slide that puppy underneath, and there you go. Magic. So the pipes are looking like they're fitting pretty good. This is going to be pretty loud, but I will put an exhaust on it. Definitely put something to make it just a little quieter. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to position the camera right about there, and I want to show you guys something. Whenever you're converting engines, you got to think of the chassis, and here's why. This is a Pulan Pro. This had 2 different engine specs, I guess you could say, that you got out of the dealer. 2 different models, that's the word. There was the Kohler and the Briggs. Now, it didn't matter which ones, but these motors came with 2 different brands. Now, because these came with 2 different brands, they had to have the wiring to fit both brands. Now, with Chuck, his brand was specifically for the 1998 LT1000s. It was only Briggs & Stratton. That was it. It was very rare to find one with a Kohler in it. Now, that could be a Briggs & Stratton single cylinder, V-twin, doesn't matter. Briggs & Stratton. And so with mine, the charging system, this little plug here, the male end charging system, was only meant for Briggs & Stratton, not Kohler. So what I had to do, because I was putting a Kohler motor in mine, is I had to snip this off and replace it with a Kohler end and figure out which color wiring went to what, how it was going to charge, make sure it was charging, and all that stuff. But because this came with a option for the Kohler and V-twin, the Kohler and the Briggs & Stratton V-twin single cylinder for both brands, they had to make a male and female end that would fit both. Now, this is a Briggs & Stratton engine, and you'll see here they'll fit right in there and you have perfect charging. And the reason why I point this out to everybody I know is because you don't want to do that stupid thing people tell you to do where you got to take out the whole wiring harness and replace it with a Briggs & Stratton. You don't have to do that. You got to check the chassis, and even if this is a only Kohler engine bay, you can do exactly what I did with Chuck. Just snip the ends off and make it fit a Briggs & Stratton, and it's not hard at all. As long as you know your diagrams, which you can look up anywhere on Pro Parts Direct or just parts.net, you can look up exactly what color wire is what, where it goes, and then look at the Kohler one and just look at it from there to there. So if this is a yellow wire and a blue wire right here, I want to find the yellow and the blue on this end. Yellow and blue could be red and white, we don't know, different brand. So you just want to just look at both, find out which wire goes to what, which male end ties into the female end, and that's how you convert it from Kohler to Briggs & Stratton, or vice versa. That's exactly what we did with Chuck. But in this case here, because it had two different options, the plug fits two different motors. So, whew, I know that's a lot. It's a lot to cover, but honest to Pete, it's the stuff you don't think about that kicks your ass later on, I promise you. So it's always good to learn this stuff, and that's the reason why this plugs right in. Just beautiful. And now we have a charging system. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna keep the camera right here, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. See, that looks like that's in. This end could sway this way. Ah, see that right there? So we can see this end right here is going in. This end is not going in. Let's look at the other side, and then we'll look underneath and just see if our assumptions are correct. Let's see. Yep. This side's going in. This side's not going in, so it's diagonal, and that's all right. Remember what I was telling you guys, it doesn't have, you can do all four for safety, but I mean, this is not creating 1,000 horsepower. The engine is not going to leave the chat. I've never had that happen to me before, partially because I always keep the safety features on the mower anyway, so if the mower does shake on me, I always put more than one kill switch on the dash just in case one blows while I'm using lights or a winch or something. So okay, so let's look underneath here. I'm gonna move this plate. That was the old plate that went to it, on with the old pulley. Not using those. All right, we're gonna look underneath this jewel. Just see what is going on. Okay, not bad. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. A lot rustier than expected, but that's okay. That is okay. The belt seems to be in decent condition. I can't say it's the best. I can't say it's the worst. See, it's a little chipped off there. Oh, no, just dirt. Never mind. Belt's not bad, yeah. Okay. I have the drive pulley for this. You can see that tie rod is bent. Get the camera right just so you guys can see this. Alright. See how that's bent? That means you're gonna have very interesting steering. I'll tell you that. It's just not gonna fit right. But you can see how it's pretty much the same on Chuck. The drivetrain is just the same. You got your two idlers. And this is why I love these old ones. It's so simple. With the new ones, you got 1,600,000 pulleys. With this guy, it's just drive pulley, two idlers, and trans. That is it. No questions asked. The only questions that could be asked is about the belt guards. You could add another pulley for tightness if you wanted to. It is totally up to you guys. But I mean, it's straightforward. It's old-fashioned. It's the way to go. So that actually fits pretty good. You can see how our belt keeper is not being interfered at all. You always want to keep an eye on that. Sometimes these V-twins have a lip on the bottom and it might interfere with the belt keeper, but this seems to be just fine. I don't see any issues. It fits amazing. And I think now it's time we bolt it in. That easy, guys. That easy. Bolt it in and we'll get to the next thing. So I guess what I'll do right now is I'm gonna bolt it in off camera just so I don't damage the lens or anything getting underneath there. I don't want to scratch up the lens getting into any rust or anything. And then I'll pick it up right after that because we still got work to do. We got to plumb up fuel line. You can actually see how the stock fuel lining was on the right here, but now it's going to have to be converted to the left, which is, I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I don't think so. My concern about this motor is I'm not seeing a fuel line coming out. I haven't ran this thing in a while and I am a little out of the picture with this machine. Usually the pumps have two. You have a vacuum line and a fuel line, but that's interesting. Ah, right there. There is our fuel line snapped right off the pump. I don't know if you guys could see that. Right there. Snapped right off. But lucky for us, we have a dead Kohler Courage sitting right over there that is not using its fuel pump. I'm gonna try it out. Holy smokes, do I hope it works. I'm not too sure if a Briggs fuel pump is gonna interfere with a Kohler. It might, and if it does, I don't think it'll matter too much because these pumps are meant for faraway gas tanks, because that's what this used to be in. It used to be in Crusty, which had a faraway gas tank, but you can see now the gas tank's up here and it's using gravity to feed it, so we might actually not even need that. I think I might just delete that or keep it on. I don't know. I think I'll keep it on though, because the overhead valve cover is gonna have to get swapped out for something different if I'm gonna do that, and I don't want to clog that up. So right now I'm gonna bolt the motor in, get a fuel pump, and I'll get right back to you guys, and then we'll start making things happen. We'll start bolting stuff where it should be, and yeah, give it hell. Motor's happy. Look at that, perfectly aligned. Oh, takes my breath away to see so much horsepower laying in something that deserves it. This thing's gonna kick ass on the freaking trails, man. Or I'm sorry, on the lawn. One thing I also want to tell you guys is that guy's fried, but this guy came with a new one. Look at that. So we're dialed. I'm gonna stop the video now, get the fuel pump, and get it rocking and rolling. Alrighty guys, the fuel pump I got off of the Kohler is the exact same as it is on the Briggs. Look at that right there. There's the one off of the Kohler. There's the one on the Briggs. I mean, could this day get any better? I sure hope so. Quick yank. There we go. I'm gonna put the stand up, since we do have that technology now. Can you believe that? We have the technology for that. Okay. So we got our fuel pump here. I'm gonna take this sucker off. Nice and easy. And then just kind of twist it off. You can see here, just twist. All right, there you go. Don't forget to take the little guy off. Ow, fuck. Okay. There we go. That took a bit. Little breather hose. Now on these fuel pumps, you're going to notice that there's going to be 3 legs. I'll show you here. 3 legs. One says P, and the 2 show up and down arrows. This is meaning fuel line in. Fuel line in, fuel line out to the carburetor. So this is the fuel line from the gas tank to pump. This is the fuel line from pump to carburetor. And then this is the breather hose. And the reason why it says P is for pressure, because this creates a pressure vacuum from the overhead valve to the pump, allowing it to suck up all that goodness that the engine will make. So the way we're gonna mount this is just like everything else. I'm actually gonna bring this closer just so you guys can get a really good look at this, because this is pretty important to know. Okay. Apologies, I'm trying to balance this on a tire. Okay. So we're gonna mount it exactly like we did with the other one. We're gonna take that filter side, flip it. It's gonna go on just like that. We have the nice bolts to go with it as well. If it'll fit, there we go. So the bolt size we have is a 10mm socket. That is the socket size. Line that up. Just gonna kind of get started here. Okay, and then just for extra safety precaution, I'm gonna put the second one on. Even though this didn't come with one, I'll still put it on anyways. Ooh, hit the camera there. Okay, out with the old, in with the new, or hopefully what is going to work. So you can see our outlet here. We're gonna plug that right in to here. Just like that. I'll push that in a little more. We're gonna take our little guy. I mean, you might not be able to see this part. I'm gonna plug him in from the bottom. Make sure he fits right where he's supposed to go. Come on. Gotta make sure this is tight. If this blows off on you on the trails, or in this case when we're mowing the lawn, not gonna be a good scene. Gotta make sure this is in there good, which it is. Beautiful. And then we have our makeshift outlet, which is pretty much just gonna be this fuel line, empty fuel line. Just plug that in. Okay. I'll just something with this just to hang it, and there you go. See, this is going to be empty, but I have an extra add-on where we can just clip it on there, bring it to the gas tank, and there we go. Voila, amazing. So what have we done? We've got the motor in, fuel pump installed and ready for action. Now what we got to do is we got to get the starter connected, check our electricals, make sure there's everything's plugged in, ignition, solenoid. Probably have to take the gas tank to do that, take that off. We're also going to, what was I going to do? Fuel cable, not fuel cable, holy moly, on a stick. I meant to say the throttle cable. We are going to check to make sure, because the stock one here is not long enough, we sadly can't use it, but this one is. And so what I'll probably have to end up doing is to see how this just barely fits. I don't know. I'll have to see if this will work, but if this doesn't, I might have to buy a new one. Something just fresh, longer to fit. So this is going real good. Just, oh my goodness, I can't stop talking about it. It's so beautiful. I mean, the amount of work you put in just to get something so nice, it's a privilege. So I'm going to stop right now, gather my tools for what lays ahead, which is taking off the gas tank, plugging all the electricals. So I'll get back to you guys when I do that. Alrighty guys, so I already took the fuel tank off. Now we got to get to this guy. You see he goes right in there, right by the fuel solenoid. I meant the solenoid. And because there's no battery, we don't have to worry about this. I do have a parts battery that we'll be using. Because I'd like to see if this thing will crank over and run today, just to see if it'll at least move. Okay, So you guys can't see it because I can't fit the camera in there. It's pretty tight in here, but removing that tray looks like a big thing. So what I'll do is, there seems to be a bolt in there. I suspect a 10 mil, but there's no way to know for sure until we actually get a good look at it. So I'm just gonna stick my drill in there. Usually you don't want to do this, you want to do this by hand, but because we don't have a battery plugged in, it's okay. I'm actually gonna use my socket wrench. So what I believe is that the owner who owned this just parked it and left it for dead because the motor must have blown on him. Ah, hold on. But wait, there's more. Let's see what size. So basically, when you're doing these kind of motor swaps, you can't see a lot of the stuff, unfortunately. You kind of got to eyeball it. So a lot of it's going back and forth, back and forth. Is it this bolt? Is it that bolt? Is it this? 11 mil. I was off by one number. Okay. So yeah. This is the first time I'm doing this and I'm not using lubricants, which is a good thing. Okay, that came right off. There we go. This is junk. We're not using this. The wire is compromised. That could easily ground, hit the frame, and toast your wiring like we did with Chuck many videos ago. So toast it. Not even gonna use it. That's junk. You could put electrical tape on it, but I am not taking that kind of risk, because then that's an extra 40 bucks worth of wiring I have to buy. But I might use it for like small stuff, like if we have like a little push mower or something, but not for this guy, not today. So we just loop this around here, which is the perfect length. I mean, oh my god. You guys probably can't see anything but the red flannel on my arm. That's okay. Alright, reach over here. This solenoid is located on the side of the motor, or on the side of the thing. Alrighty guys, so we've got the fuel pump hooked up, fuel line kind of there. Electricals are all done. All we gotta do now is get a drive pulley under there, which I have. Get a bolt under there for that drive pulley, which I have. Plug the belt in, which we got. I'm gonna grab some lubricant and move that shifter around, just so that if this thing does crank over and drive, we'll at least be able to have a good amount of shifting, easy shifting. And then put the gas tank back on, connect the fuel line, fill it up with gas, and then crank it over and see what happens. I'm excited. Yes. I'm more happier than a kid in a candy store. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to get back to you guys when we're underneath the lawnmower ready to put the pulley on. Alrighty guys, we're underneath the mower, and you know the drill. Pulley always comes first. So almost forgot the bolt. So what we're going to do now is put the pulley on. I'm actually going to make sure this pulley fits first. The shaft size should be the same, but you never know. Press this bolt in. Yes, sir. Alrighty. The reason why I always say put the pulley on first is you never know if this is a different shaft size, this has a different keyway, or if the bolt fits in the threads. You don't know. But now that we know, we could put the belt on first, then the pulley, line it up over the guards, there we go, put the bolt in. Look at that, easy peasy. Push the clutch in, put the belt over the clutch, and there you go. Right on. This is just beautiful. I mean, I really hope you guys appreciate this content, because this is almost as good as it gets for a motor swap. Oh, beautiful. It's a little difficult to understand for me because I'm so used to everything going to hell, and this is the first time things are actually going right. So what I'm going to do right now off camera is bolt that pulley back on and lubricate the shifter, and then when I'm back, I'll have the gas tank all routed up with fuel and a battery, and we're going to crank this thing over and see what it's got. So I'll bear with me and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, we got the old GMC Burb, and we're going to jump start it with the old Pulan Pro. Alrighty guys, the big time, here we go. Nothing. Alrighty guys, sad news, sad news. We tried to jump start it with the old GMC, and I totally forgot to mention this to you guys, but whenever you're gonna put something big like this in there, in an engine bay like that, you got to upgrade some of the electricals, and I think we blew the solenoid because it cranked and then stopped, and then the solenoid, it wouldn't even cross the connection. It started smoking a bit, so we blew the solenoid. What tends to happen is these solenoids get old, and then because you're putting something so big in there that requires a lot of juice to turn it over, the solenoid just can't handle it, so you got to upgrade that. So that is it for today's video. What we're going to do today is just clean this all up. I'll probably do that off camera, and then tonight I'll put on my cart fuel line, fuel filter, possibly a new throttle cable, but I don't think we need one. I think we can make this one work. So let's see, fuel line, fuel filter, just general oil change stuff, plugs and all. We need a new tire for the rear because that's shot, so I'm gonna get some ag tires for that. New solenoid, upgrade that solenoid, and then get a new battery because this one, it works, but it's not the best. So future content, I mean, hey, we'll see. We don't know if this thing drives yet, but I'm sure it will be driving very soon. So with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I mean, wow, we got the engine in, we got most of it plumbed up, bolted in, belts on, pulleys are on. I mean, she's pretty much ready to rock and roll. Just gotta do a couple small stuff. So wow, I'm excited. I'm excited to get something like this going. We've never had a V-twin lawnmower like that, mow lawn, so this will be pretty cool. And I'll be doing more stuff on the blade deck in the future. Also, we got some new parts coming for the Husqvarna, more videos on that, and the Suburban, more videos on that, and Chuck, more videos on that. So plenty of videos coming your way, guys. So with all that said and done, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Instagram and Patreon links below. If you guys have any questions at all, what kind of upgrades you have questions about, any mods you have questions about, you know, email me, give me a chat. If you just want to say hello, give me a chat. I mean, just whatever you want to do, let me know. If you have any questions of like what kind of parts, or any questions about doing a V-twin swap in an engine bay like this, just let me know. you can reach me out in the chat below. And with all that said and done, I hope you guys stay safe and catch you guys next time.